Hello, Capricorn, and welcome back to your extended. I'm very pleased that you joined us. I can feel a sense of hesitancy here. It's like almost it's coming through as like almost you didn't want to click on this extended, but you did. And so now you're here. And I can feel the hesitancy of like okay, so don't be scared. It's just a little bit of magic. So, all right, we're starting off your extended reading with this Five of Swords. And perhaps maybe this is what that hesitancy was that I was feeling. Because this Five of Swords, it shows up as a mental conflict. So it feels as though you're in a space where perhaps even that first half of the message or whatever you're experiencing, the schedule that you're trying to make, the new influence that's trying to inspire you, it's causing everything, well, because it's the Five of Swords and it is swords, it's in your mind. So it's actually coming up with a message of that you're causing your own mental discomfort. And the way to get out of that is by making a decision. The longer you stay in this energy, the longer you're in a space where you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go. You're just sitting in contemplation. It's definitely coming through with a sense of overthinking, overanalyzing the situation. For instance, like with this schedule, or replacing bad habits with good habits, and how to actually incorporate that into your life. What is it going to look like? Where exactly? Okay, so if I stop doing this and then I start doing this, then it's like there's a lot actually that you are trying to process. And it's kind of gotten to a point where there's a sense of overwhelm and needing to take a seat. Just sit down. Just literally sit down. Like when this feeling starts to come up, the guidance here is actually to just sit down. To literally just sit on the floor. And that is going to help ground you. It's going to help to ease your mind. And it's also going to help put you in a more relaxed state so that you can see the next step. The next step is this world card, which is talking about you going on this new journey of yours. This new journey, it's actually like a very healthy, it's coming through as healthy, like a new healthy health journey for you. It's very interesting because I'm thinking about a conversation that I had with someone, and they said to me that it will always be one day until you decide that it's day one. And that quote, I don't know who quoted it or if, whatever, it actually made me sit and think. It put me in this Five of Swords, which is very, very important. Although this energy might not be one that you desire to be in, it can feel very uncomfortable. It's incredibly beneficial because it's like once you realize that we were talking about that you have control of how you want your life to look. You are the 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 writer, the character, the director, all of the roles that you play in your life are reminding you that you actually have control over what you want to experience and how you want to experience it. What type of emotional resonance do you want to have over your life? And it does seem like you want to be able to have power over your experience. And so, in order to gain that power over your experience, you have to take it. You have to take it. You have to assert power over your experience. And that doesn't mean that you would be controlling or manipulating others to suit yourself. What it's really referring to is that you have control over your own actions and the decisions that you make in order to move you forward into a new world, into a space that is going to be more conducive to your health, to your overall well being. And so, here in this Five of Swords, you're deciding that the former way that you have been doing things is not serving you. And so you sit down, you sit in it, you ground yourself, and it's like immediately maybe not immediately, it might take some time, a little bit of time, we have that, a little bit of time. And we do have the Three of Wands here, which traditionally talks about waiting. It might take a little bit of time for this to come over you, but you are going to be transformed into a way that it's like your life is going to begin to blossom. And you're realizing that it has everything to do with how you direct yourself in your story. Just feeling into it and seeing if there's anything else that needs to come out here. There's something here about when you decide to take this new approach, it's like your life is going to start it's going to start to look like a storybook. Like it has fantasy in it. It has magic. It has all of those, wonderful things that would bring a sense of joy. And I'm loving it here because this place that you find yourself, in this overthinking, kind of overcomplicating things, really in your head, not knowing how to necessarily structure everything so that you can achieve all the things that you want to achieve. You're wanting to come into a place of health. This stage is incredibly important because I'm seeing you, it's like you're in a womb. I often see this as a womb and a birth canal. And that's why it might take a little bit. It might take a little bit of time to come to this point because you're growing. You don't want to come out of the womb premature because there would actually be some health concerns. You see what I mean? You want to come out in the right time. So if you are, I keep just saw 11:11. So if you are, you know, being hard on yourself for not getting to the place that you see fit, remember that you don't want to be birthed into this new place premature. There would be a very distinctive learning curve, which would, in a sense, slow down your progress. Hopefully that makes sense. So once you get to a place where you're finally birthed into this new way, a new way of doing things, a new way of perceiving things, a new way of designing your life, adding a sense of magic to it, you find yourself in this Three of Wands. The beauty here is that, you were just, I hope that you can see it in the cards as well as I'm trying to demonstrate it, but he's on an outcrop up here, and this Five of Swords guy is at a lower position. So it's talking about vibrationally. So you've successfully climbed your way up to a new place where you can actually get a better vantage. You can get a better vantage point of your path as it lays out in front of you. Let me see this path. You're coming into a realization that a part of this path for you, a part of this path for you is recognizing your shadow. It's your shadow, actually. Very interesting. Okay. Let's dive deep. So, when you experience this, oh my God, this is so scary. I don't want to open up this book because it's frightening. It's got a little bit of horror in it. What you're ultimately going to discover is that shadow is actually you. It's actually your strength and your power, your dignity, your sovereignty, your ability to be able to see actually everything. You can see everything. Um, Throughout the polarity. The justice card here, this particular justice, comes with a sense of flexibility. So you can see the gray. It's not just black and white for you. You can see every single like shade along this shadow. See what I'm saying? And what you're realizing that your path, this is really gorgeous. You might not be experiencing it this way, but this is so gorgeous to me. You're realizing that your path is understanding that the shadows that you see are actually a representation of yourself. And when you finally get to that place where you actually, okay, I'm looking at the shadow, and you scale it down, you scale that shadow, that big scary shadow down to what it actually is. It's like you're going to realize it's better. You're going to realize that that's a part of your magic. It's as if you are meant to be doing something. I want to be careful with my words because I don't want to frighten you. But I'm going to say it anyways because we are all here for our path on ascension and finding out who we truly are on the inside. And a lot of that along this path has to do with unveiling our shadows and realizing that we put all of those things, those bits of ourselves, into the shadow because they're usually, I'm not saying this is all the time, but usually there's a sense of shame that comes with that. Like, and that sense of shame is generally brought on by other people and their opinions and their expectations. And so on your path to health, you're finding out that a lot of the things in your shadow are actually they're so very much essential to your overall well being. And one of those things is your ability to manipulate and move the energies around you in a way that has a magical aspect to it. It could be characterized as witchcraft. I'm just feeling the little shockwave of that as I'm saying it. So that's what you're starting to realize. There does seem to be something in this story, the Raven, that is going to demonstrate this for you. But as a reminder, of course, be very courageous and brave. You can open this story and you can look at it, and you're going to see that it's actually your strength. And when you open this story and you finally you start to take in the words, you start to take in, you're in a very The Three of Wands is a very receptive place to be. You're waiting for the next thing to come to you. So as you're reading this story and you're discovering along this path, as the curtain of the shadow starts to lift, there is an energy outside, further down the horizon, where it's wanting to come in and greet you. It's this chariot. It's that chariot that's wanting to come and like pick you up. It's wanting to pick you up and take you on a ride. And it's presenting here as the artist. It's a new story. So you come into a place where you've got the courage, you're gonna open that book. You're gonna read it. This is so funny. Because what I'm hearing right now with this one is oh my god, I don't want to say this. It's like you're not a bitch. Like you're gonna do it. You're gonna like mama didn't raise no bitch. So you're opening the story, you're reading the story. As you are discovering it, you're following the trail, the trajectory of the plot line. You're coming into a place where the artist is starting to greet you. It's very interesting, perhaps because this is actually, it's actually presenting as like Edgar, as the author, as the writer, as like Edgar Allan Poe, perhaps, or a writer that is they're coming to pick you up, and it's like they're taking you along into their story. Well, not into their story. Well, it is, but it's serving as an example, so that whatever you experience in this story, however it's going to pertain to you, it's going to inform how you are going to write your next story. That's what I was referring to. It's like you're going to be seeing this next story. It's informing you. Because whatever element that is in it, this magical element, you're going to, it's like there's a pearl or a nugget of information that is the key to opening up this magical side of yourself, so that you can go back and apply it to the process that you're wanting to establish for yourself, your new schedule, your new way of viewing your well-being and your health. It's like the energy in that story is helping to establish a new process for you. And then what I'm seeing here is once you continue to read this story and you've connected with the writer, be it in this example, Edgar Allan Poe, you're coming to a place where you're starting to come to the end of the story. The death card here is representing the end. You're closing the book. You finally have read through the entire story. You've gained the nugget, the small little thing that was casting that huge shadow. And what you're finding here is that, I'm looking at this giant like skeleton here. It's covered with, these green decay. It's very macabre. It's kind of a little gross. So you're looking at this giant shadow, and there's something in it that you notice is very similar to you when you were in this space of overthinking, overanalyzing, not really knowing where to go. You see how both of them are very in a very similar position, how they're even wearing the same green. You're noticing this death energy within yourself. And in the Virgo seasonal reading, we were talking about how throughout this season, you're going to notice things about yourself and perhaps even about others that are acting as parasites or something that is draining your life essence. And when we discover that, we have the choice to not bring that with us because it's not beneficial, right? We're seeking health and well-being. So the energy of something that is literally draining your life essence is something that needs to be left behind. It needs to be closed up in the book, in the old story, because you're moving into a new story. You're moving through that portal, right, that we were talking about, and into a brand new story, one that you are learning how to design for yourself. And when you finally see that shadow, it's like you're scaling, you see how he's starting to diminish. The shadow is starting to scale down. And if you look really, really, really closely, you can see here that there's a figure down here that has casted that shadow. And what you're going to ultimately end up discovering was that it was you. It was you who had casted that shadow. It's been you all alone, all alone, all alone. You feel alone. We're bringing up something that was being reflected in that Virgo reading, which was talking about um, a sense of not feeling worthy of abundance. So you're feeling alone. But what you're realizing is that you're actually the one that wrote that into your story, into your previous story. So when you come back from this experience, remember that you have the ability to be able to control what you experience in your life, how you experience it, and how it's going to ultimately emotionally register with you. So if you're feeling alone, write in, write in, write something in, write in and write in a new friend. Write in a new, oh my God. Write in a new friend. The Pisces reading was literally called A New Friend. Write in a new friend, and they're going to come. You see this? They're coming. They're going to come, and they're going to pick you up, and they're going to take you. Oh, I love this. Oh, I'm getting the chills. And they're going to take you into a brand new story. It's so beautiful. It's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. Capricorn, I love your reading. Thank you so much for watching. And I appreciate you allowing me to read your energies and allowing me to be a messenger for your path of ascension. This is going to be one hell of a ride, but it's so worth it. I'll see you next time, Capricorn.